Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Olumide Macaulay. On today's program, lawmakers at the Senate agree with House of Representatives that the President brief a joint session of both chambers on the state of the economy. Society of Gynecology and Obstetrics of Nigeria move to curb maternal and child mortality in the Northeast. And the Imo State Amnesty Program takes medical outreach to the grassroots. Thank you for joining us. The Senate has agreed with the House of Representatives on the decision to invite the President to brief a joint session of both chambers on the state of the economy. The federal lawmakers in the upper chamber came to this resolution through a voice vote. The House of Representatives had earlier thrown their weight behind the recommendation. They claimed that there is a need for President Muhammadu Buhari to clarify the actual state of the economy in view of alleged conflicting signals coming from different officials in the administration, especially on the steps towards getting Nigeria out of recession. The federal government has acknowledged the role of journalists in nation building as it challenges the Nigerian Guild of Editors to engage in self-cleansing. The Minister of Information's message at the commissioning of the Guild of Editors House in Lagos today also wants the fourth estate of the realm to eliminate the bad eggs within the profession. Mr. Lai Mohammed says journalism profession cannot be wished away, but sadly many unprofessionals are beginning to find their way into the worthy profession. Dignitaries at the event include former Governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, the former Governor of Delta State, Emmanuel Duaran, the present Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, and others. Nigerians who may have fears about visiting the UK following Brexit may not have any grounds for such concern. And this clarification was made by the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Arkwright, who explained that Brexit does not affect the UK's immigration policy regarding Nigeria. He was speaking on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily.
When it comes to the arrangements for Nigerians and non-EU citizens, certainly at the moment nothing has changed. So we have a visa regime which you're well aware of. Nigerians need to apply for a visa in the usual way, online and so on. I've always said that it's important that any Nigerian who wants to come to the United Kingdom, and by the way, Nigerians are very welcome in the United Kingdom, needs to make sure they have all the processes right, they apply online, they have all the documentation, etc. That has not changed. And that's an important message, I think, for your viewers, that when it comes to immigration into the UK, we haven't changed any rules. But the basic fundamentals, I think, are there. The point that you made about the debate around immigration being a key element of the Brexit vote, I'm not denying that. That is absolutely the case. There is a sense from some in the UK that we have been too open in the past to EU, in particular EU immigration, and I think that did have an effect on the vote. And that's why the Prime Minister in her speech yesterday was talking about immigration. But I don't think it changes the fundamentals of the United Kingdom and the way in which we will remain very open to Nigerians, indeed to all those who want to come and visit us.
Mr. Paul Arkwright, British High Commissioner to Nigeria. Now, to security and West African students and students all over the world resident or visiting Nigeria have been assured of their security as the Nigerian Air Force reiterated its commitment to working with other agencies, security agencies, to maintain the internal security of her territory. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, who gave the assurance in Abuja while playing host to students from Kwame Nkrumah Institute of Ghana, says the Nigerian Air Force will continue to play a leading role in ensuring that the internal and external security of Nigeria is not compromised.
I want to also say that in the Air Force, we'll continue to do our best to create an enabling environment for not only students but all Nigerians and everybody living in Nigeria to live in peace and harmony, and to go about his or her pursue his or her desires without any difficulty or without any fear. I want to say that the federal government is doing everything humanly possible to address some of these problems, and we in the Air Force are equally supportive of the policies of the government. We have, in the last 1 year or thereabout, provided skills to close to 1,000 youths in our barracks, both boys and girls. We have given them certain skills that they can use. We have also gone ahead to see how we can provide for the welfare of our personnel.
Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff. The federal government has advocated the need to harmonize shipping laws in Central and West African sub-regions in order to fast-track the government's vision of diversifying the nation's economy. Speaking in Abuja at an international consultation meeting of Rotterdam shipping laws in West and Central African countries, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport, Mr. Sabiu Sakari, reiterates the government's resolve to steer the nation out of recession through the non-oil businesses. The Executive Secretary of the National Shipping Council, Mr. Hassan Bello, says the interest of ship owners is always in conflict with that of cargo owners, and the situation is made worse due to conflicting maritime laws in different countries.
We are all aware that the global shipping industry, especially in the area of carriage of goods by sea, is governed by distinct and conflicting legal regimes on international carriage of goods by sea, and that the adoption and application of these conflicting legal regimes by different countries as dictated by national interests has continued to pose many significant challenges to shipping and international trade. In order to address the imbalance between the two conflicting conventions, that is the Hague-Visby Rules of 1924, protective of maritime nations, and the Hamburg Rules of 1972, protective of cargo-owning nations, the United Nations Conference on International Trade Law, UNCITRAL, at its session in 1996, proposed the unification of national maritime legislations and balance of risks among the divergent interest groups by reviewing practices and laws in the area of international carriage of goods by sea.
Ship owners have always been known to oppress the shippers by unilaterally diminishing their liabilities for cargo loss or damage through inserting indiscriminate exemption clauses.
Now, it appears people living in the Bakassi area may not be able to prove a link with either Nigeria or Cameroon in the future. That's according to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, representative to Nigeria and the Economic Community of West African States, who was speaking at a meeting in Abuja. This comes as the UNHCR and ECOWAS have signed a memorandum of understanding to jointly resolve all issues relating to internal displacement and statelessness in the West African sub-region.
The partnership framework between UNHCR and the ECOWAS Parliament comes at a critical time in the sub-region, where additional efforts are needed to improve the protection environment for persons of concern and ensure the full respect of their rights. Through the Memorandum of Understanding signed today, UNHCR and the ECOWAS Parliament formalize their collaboration into a framework that would allow our organizations to better protect the rights of asylum seekers, refugees, returnees, internally displaced persons, stateless persons, those at risk of statelessness, and so on. And it will also enable us work together to ensure the proper interpretation and application of relevant international, regional, and national laws.